Hi Helen, hi Lee. Just wanted to run through first concepts with you. So I've got some different ideas, three different sketches actually to run by you for your garden. So let's go straight to it and see how we can transform this space. Okay, so this is design number one. All three designs actually have the same essential elements in them. One of the main things I want to do is concentrate on the big picture window here and the view out. And we want to make sure that we've got that view to the hills beyond, which is on this right hand side here in this corner. So one of the ideas I think that David originally come up with, and I've sort of gone with because I think it's a great idea, is to incorporate a sunken entertainment area in your garden so that you can sort of sit down in this area in this right hand corner, and this will give a real focal point from these windows here. It's really important for me to have things sort of lined up, so I've taken dimensions from the house and from the windows just so that we've got focal points in the right place and everything sort of lined up correctly with the doors and windows. So from here you can see we would come out onto a step so that we keep this step raised at, you know, as close to ground level in the house as possible, just making sure we clear the sort of air bricks there. And we've come out onto this terrace area, and instead of having one great big slab of all the same tile, I really like to sort of break that up with a colour contrast. So I think going with your kitchen colours, it would be really nice to have a sort of quite a light creamy coloured tile, perhaps even a porcelain, and we can look at materials later, but something light and creamy, and then have strips detail of a darker sort of grey slate colour. And I've carried that through all around, so you can see in this feature in this corner here I've got the sort of grey slate idea going, and on this feature here, and strips through the paving. So that steps down, and then we step down again onto the lawn and have sort of three of the tiles sunk in. This would all be flush in this artificial lawn area, and the lawn, as you can see, wraps right the way around the house, so it's gonna feel so much bigger. At the moment your log cabin, as you know, is kind of here, which comes right out to a corner point about here at the moment. So by taking that away, we sort of open this right up and we can wrap lawn, and I think that's really important, to wrap the sort of green area of lawn right around the corner of the house, and that would just really open up the space. So from here we go through, down some steps, just one or two steps down, maybe three. We'll sort of work out all these levels further down the line. But it takes us down into this kind of lower area, and it will all be contained with walling going around, and they can be, well, there's quite a few options for the surfaces of that we can talk about, but they can be simple rendered blockwork walls, painted white or cream. They can have coping tiles on the top of the grey slate, or we can use a sort of cladding material that we can use on the verticals here. But anyway, whatever we come up with, the idea is just to create this lovely focal point with a fire pit in the middle, so you can go out there and sit round there in the evenings. And I know you don't want plants, Helen. I know that we don't want any flowers going on here, but I really think that if we just have greenery, just different evergreens, just a tiny bit. So I've put in some small amount, literally a few feature plants that would be evergreens, no flowers, different sort of textures and foliage colours, and it will look lush, it will look absolutely lovely. And this gives us the opportunity to have some benching built in all the way around, so you don't need any furniture as such. You've just got a beautiful, we could use like a hardwood Iroko top here for the bench seating. Yeah, so it's all built in. You've got the sort of raised planters, and it will feel really lovely and cosy. Okay, so we've also got some just little features just by kind of balance in the space, really. I wanted to sort of balance into this corner, and you can see that I've squared off the garden, and it just knocks off all these awkward angles. So by drawing the lawn line horizontal to the house here, and then having a little bit of feature slate work going around a small feature tree in the corner. It just knocks off all those funny awkward angles. One of the things I'd like to use in the garden is the idea, they're really funky, of pleach trees. They're almost like a hedge on stilts. You've got a kind of evergreen boundary, but raised up with sort of clear stems. It's really contemporary, really funky, really modern. We see them everywhere at Chelsea and sort of show gardens and things. Little bit of sort of design feature here coming through this window, 3 sculptural spheres of topiary box balls as you view out from the study, sort of man cave. And white pebbles is really good to sort of fill in the gaps. So in between where we've got these funny awkward shapes going on, we just fill it up with a lovely small white shingle. And lighting is going to be key in here as well. We can have a uplighter to uplight a beautiful specimen tree in the corner, something like a silver birch, very small, keep it contained so it's not going to get too big and overcrowd the house. And lighting as well, we can talk about having little inset lights under the benches so that they give out a sort of glow across the surface of this paved area and in the step risers. So lots of cool things going on there. That's design number 1, and then let's see how that differs from the second one. For this one, I've really simplified it further. It's a bit less fussy than the first one. We've got simpler lawn shapes going on, and for this one, instead of having just a fairly traditional kind of one step coming out in line with the patio doors, I've kind of gone a little bit asymmetrical on this, which is kind of cool. So we come out onto a platform here, and then we come down a step and down another step. So I've drawn these little arrows to show that this is stepping down. So this is all at a higher level than the artificial lawn area. And then what this does is, by having the grey tiles going straight out from the house here, it's given the illusion, it's a bit of an optical illusion on this one, that it makes the garden feel longer than it actually is. So it's a bit of a designer trick that, I mean, your plot is wider than it is long, and sort of wide shallow plots are quite tricky because you sort of feel like you look out from the house and you're looking straight at the wall at the back, or the fence at the back. So by sort of drawing the eye out with this solid colour going straight out here, it kind of elongates this area from here to here, which is quite cool. And also I wanted to... Oh, why is it doing that? Sorry, Siri's talking to me. Go away, Siri. Also, I've drawn in here some timber arches, so to really frame the view from your garden, from your windows out into this sunken area, I want to sort of frame that view. So I've put in some contemporary square arches. So these would be sort of pergola beams that kind of create a big square frame around the sunken seating area, and another one here. So it's just a quirky little sort of asymmetrical design. So instead of coming straight into the sunken area, you come around and you come into it from the side. So that creates a bit more of a journey as well around a garden, which is always a good thing to do. And then for this design, again, inbuilt bench seating, a fire pit in the middle, come down 2 steps into it, and we've got all the same options of sort of rendered walls and beautiful lights in here. But this creates a bit more of a horseshoe shape. So if you like that kind of thing, it means you can all sit a bit closer together around there like that. Again, I've used the same trick to kind of take away these sharp angles. So hopefully, I think this one is even stronger from that point of view, that by having 3 specimen trees along the back here, it really does just knock away that funny angle that's going on. You just won't notice it at all. It will just all look square and straight. It's going to look again so much bigger. The lawn area is wrapping around, and then on this one I've sort of squared up and I've got 3 feature containers going on here, which I like to use quite a lot. We can do something really funky with sort of illuminated pots, so really nice big light up pots, and you can even have fake topiary in the top of them if you don't want to worry about plants dying off. And the silver birches are beautiful. You can have little multi-stemmed Bachelor Jackmontii, which is the really white stemmed species of silver birch. And they can be contained, so don't worry when you see these sort of 3 trees. They're not going to be enormous like great big parkland trees. They're just beautiful features that are uplit at night, and they just look lovely. And then on this one we've just got one little tiny strip of planting here, which would be really low maintenance planting in here, evergreens. Okay, so here's the final option. So here, as you can see, I've turned it all on a 45-degree angle, and what I like about this is it opens up this corner even more. So when we wrap the garden turfed area around the house, it just makes it look even bigger. And it doesn't matter that this isn't a complete square. It's again another little designer trick that it sort of tricks our brain into thinking that's a complete shape. You don't need to fit in a complete rectangular shape here. Your brain kind of just assumes that it is. So that's quite handy. It means we kind of cheat more space than we've got. And by putting the dark grey feature tiles at an angle, it's drawing the eye to this corner and to the view at the back. And I want to frame that view again. So in this one, I've framed the view slightly differently with 2 little feature birches in the raised planting area. These are going to look gorgeous. On this one, because it's all tilted at an angle, your seating area is at this angle here, a beautiful sort of 90 degrees, fire pit going that way, and this is all lined up beautifully, because you know how I can get a bit OCD about things like this. That it lines up through those big picture windows. So yeah, I think this one just makes gardening, it just gives it more space, just opens it up even more. With this one as well, instead of on the first one we had a small step, on the second one we had steps sort of coming out horizontally to the house. This one, I thought, what about if we just take the whole level of this up to floor level, and then step down over here, just down into the lawn, and step down here into the sunken area here. This one as well, to knock off this angle, because we're at 45 degrees and I want the squared off lines here. I've created these lines here from the house to knock off this corner, and put my 3 illuminated pots as a feature there, and my pleach trees going along here that will all be uplit at night. Beautiful lighting. Okay, so here we've got it modelled up as much as I could, and I want to just show you how this looks from inside, because this is really important to me. So there, I think that gives a really accurate representation of how amazing this is going to look through your big picture windows, your new windows there. So you get all this interest, it's a real focal point, and this sunken area with the fire pit, a little bit of planting, just a little bit, and even from this window here, whoops, let's zoom in here, you get a glimpse of that raised area and planting and the silver birch in there. Okay, so I think this helps sort of visualise how well those 45-degree angles kind of draw the eye out, rather than going straight out from the patio, from the doors. it's taking you off at an angle, and you've got to sort of lead the eye to something. So one little feature specimen plant there would be ideal. And then the steps going down. Right, let's go outside into your garden. Zoom through the windows. Oh, it's a bit slow. Sorry, it's a bit slow and clunky, this model. Oh, let's try something else. Let's go from above. Right, okay. Okay, let's spin it around like this. Okay. So, this is how this could look, this lovely sunken seating area. And going back when you're sitting here at night, sort of looking back to the house. So as you can see, I'm kind of suggesting that we raise up this whole area and then it drops down to lawn level. Then we come down the steps. I need to work out with Dave exactly how deep we go. It might just be 2 steps down, how far we want to go with this. Got to make sure we've got a comfortable seating height here, about 45-50 centimetres high for the bench. And like I say, there's all sorts of options as to what we build this from, whether it's just rendered work or whether we clad it in a beautiful sort of tile detail, all sorts of things, and that will be cost dependent as well, I know, so we can stay in budget. So this is how that little feature of the kind of illuminated pots works. That kind of, there. That kind of knocks off that angle and it makes our squared lawn look so much better. And then this is showing the sort of peach trees in the corner going across there. I thought it would be fun to play around with the geometry of this garden so that we've got all these squares and straight lines going on. It would be good to put some spheres in, and even if you don't like the idea of box spheres, plants, we could even have stone, big stone sort of balls, or stainless steel balls, or, you know, something in there like that underneath the square peach tree. And that extra height just balances the height that we've got over here. We've got this lower level here, and I wanted to sort of contrast and do something. If it was all just flat with no height in this corner, it would be unbalanced in my view. So I shall leave that with you guys. I'll send you some screen grabs so that you can have a look at them all. Please feel free to scribble notes and come back to me. You can either give me a call and we can chat through it if you like, or just an email if it's, you know, a few little comments or amends or suggestions or feedback. So I shall look forward to hearing from you. Okay, bye.